If you are getting motivated sellers and converting those motivated sellers into contracts where you can wholesale and make a profit, is not happening in your business. It may not be the leads, it may be you. The acquisition skills that it's required. In real estate wholesaling training, I'm going to break down now how successful wholesalers communicate with motivated sellers, uncover true motivation, negotiate the prices, focus on correcting the qualities, and also the lead to contract flow. My name is Ilya Kasylov, the Investor Cop, a former NYPD police officer and a real estate investor since 2016. I'm the founder of a nationwide real estate investing company and founder of Finest Mentors, where we train people like yourself how to get your first deal and scale it up to a full-time business. So over the years, I've learned that lead gen is only part of building a successful real estate investing business. You can have cold call leads, PPC leads, direct mail leads. You can have inbound leads. You could have people reaching out to your website, what have you, right? That's not the issue. Proper communication with homeowners that can just literally burn through your leads and you lose opportunities is the major issues. I've seen people have the highest and most motivated homeowners, but they lose them on the acquisition side. And I've also seen, on the contrary, people who have excellent acquisition and weak disposition. So in this video, you're going to learn how to turn motivated sellers into wholesale deals, how to improve the real estate acquisition skills, how to talk to sellers naturally without sounding like it's so scripted you're reading off a piece of paper, how to uncover seller motivation and identify the real problem that most people want to sell to investors, how to negotiate when the homeowner wants too much money, what to say when the seller says, I need to think about it, or how to handle, I need to talk to my spouse, why wholesalers are losing deals by giving up too early, how to follow up with these motivated sellers, and how to improve your lead to contract ratio and rate. So real estate wholesaling is a skill. Wholesaling houses isn't just about finding distressed property. That's a part of this big formula, right? Part of the ingredients. It's about finding situations where homeowner has a major problem in their life that they want to solve. In reality, they don't need to work with you. Like if their house is in great condition, they have time and convenience. I always tell the homeowners, just list the house or like fix it up and then try to sell it on your own. You don't need to work with me. But if they do reach out to you, the requirement is you need to listen. Communication, negotiation, follow up, and understanding the difference between someone who simply wants to sell and true motivation. So before ending a seller conversation, you should understand, why are they selling? Why do they want to sell now? What problem are they trying to solve? And what's preventing them from moving forward? If you can't answer those questions, you probably haven't gotten deep enough into the situation and you're missing the main ingredients. And one of the easiest things to do in this business is to blame the marketing. The leads are bad. The lists don't work. Cold calling is dead. PPC is too expensive. But before changing your marketing strategy, look at your conversation process. How many motivated sellers are you speaking with? How many offers are you making? How often are you following up? How well are you handling these objections that the homeowners bring up to you? And how many opportunities are being lost because the seller wasn't ready on the first call? Sometimes you don't need a new lead source. You need to become better at converting the opportunities, right? By listening. So if you're serious about learning real estate investing and want more than just a random YouTube video, right? There's several ways you can get involved. First is Finest Mentors. You can join the community we have on WhatsApp, as well as the community here. You could take the free Finest Mentors course. That's be in the link below. And if you are actually interested and qualified, because I need to have a conversation. I don't just let everybody in. Apply for the mentorship and we could get you started and getting your first deal. Or if you already are investing, how to build a whole business, just like my own business. So I'll drop those in the description and we will go from there. So about the mentorship too, Finest Mentors is a real estate education of a platform. I'm one of the coaches that's there. You'll have direct access to myself or Tony, the other coach. And in our training, we're covering real estate wholesaling, acquisition, dispositions, cold calling, follow up, everything you need to do to scale up your business from one deal a year to one deal a month down to 5 deals a month. So that's it. So I just kind of want to share with you about that. And if you guys are watching this live, drop like what's the hardest objection you're getting from the sellers right now? Drop it in the comments if you're watching this in the replay, but tell me more. Like what's the hardest? And I would love to answer it and help you guys get through it. All right. This video is pretty simple, pretty quick. You could watch the replays from previous weeks where I talk about the acquisition skills. But remember, guys, it's not lead quality. It's you are not asking deep enough questions. And I know they're uncomfortable. I know they're like, oh man, I don't want to ask this. That's invasion of somebody's privacy. But guess what? This person went to you to solve their problem. They have a problem, and sometimes they may not want to open up. But if they don't open up and share what the problem is, you may not be able to find a solution. Like I always say, we get paid the big bucks um, not because that we're taking advantage of people's situations, because that's what wholesaling has a bad rep. Oh, you guys are stealing properties. No, people are reaching out to us with major issues and problems, and they want to sell their properties at a discount because it needs too much work. They're going through a divorce. They inherited property out of state. They don't want to do the renovations. They don't want to list it. Whatever the case scenario is. And our job as wholesalers is figure out. And I literally eliminate people on the phone call. I say, hey, look, I don't think you need to work with me. Sounds like you have plenty of time. You don't really have urgency to sell. And if the house doesn't sell, nothing happens. So I would recommend you fix it up, paint it, spruce it up, make it nice, 2026 standards, and throw it on the market, whether with a realtor or for sale by owner, you'll get more money. And then people freak out sometimes. They're like, what are you talking about? I don't want to do that. I want to sell cash fast. I said, okay, well, I'm a cash buyer. I have to buy at a discount because I'm calculating repair costs, holding costs, transfer taxes and commissions, and also other expenses that occur when I resell it. So my offer would be, at a fraction of what you can get in the market. But if you really need to sell, I really need to buy. So let's have a conversation. And people appreciate that type of conversation much more because they see it's genuine. They see that you're pointing them in other directions, right? I'm a real estate consultant. That's what I am. I'm not a real estate investor or just a wholesaler. I'm a consultant. So I go through people's options about what can they do, what can they get from this, and how can they continue to benefit working with our company. Whether we don't do anything, right? We don't get paid. Maybe we could say, hey, seller, if you do find anybody who's in the situation where they need to sell fast and they need cash, refer me out. And people do. We have plenty of referrals. Or you can speak to them and also just say, look, you know what? Just leave me a good review. And you could say that I didn't buy your property, but I was able to point you in the right direction. Sometimes we're not the best option, but we're not here to convince people to sell to us. We're here to help people in genuine situations that are difficult. And unfortunately, many people have to face those, right? Everyone has parents who might be older and they might pass, and then you have to deal with an inheritance process. And there's multiple families there. The process can get complicated. The probate process can get complicated. When you have multiple family members out of different states, that can get complicated now. And if you don't, people can't afford or they don't want to take off of work to go out to the house and clean it up and remove junk and go through all the stuff, it's a complicated process. You're providing a genuine solution that helps people. You just need to understand that before getting to the call. Not lowball, not, oh, this guy's just taking advantage of me. You're helping people out. And as soon as you shift that mindset on acquisitions, you can actually do a lot better, right? And you could take the blame off of yourself. You could tell people, hey, look, I'm just a glorified note taker. I'm just taking all this information and I'm going to speak with my partner, if you have one, right? Or my mentor, or I'm going to just have to review this to see if there's anything I can do. It works so much better that way. The people see the genuineness from you, from the conversation, from your reputation and company, and they trust you to do business. This is why I've been in business since 2016, and we have BBB accreditations, Google reviews, video testimonies of all happy customers, right? You can't have a bad business and for that long survive and still have all those reviews from people who are willing to put their face out there and share their personal experience with our company, the hardships they faced, and how we were able to solve them. So make sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment, guys. God bless you all, and I hope to see you next week. Take care.
167 to 168. All units have a live advice on E4 still awaiting.